Yeah, and also your makeup goes on so much better when your skin is cleansed, hydrated, and then skin prep. That's a whole other new thing, which we'll touch on in a bit. And then the makeup, and it just goes on so much better.
Welcome to Suburban Warrior, the podcast that will impact, inspire, and empower you to transform your mindset and become the badass warrior that you are. I'm your host and fellow warrior, Chrissy Pfeiffer, former clinician and corporate marketing exec turned multi-passionate entrepreneur, performance and life coach, and mom to 4 not-so-little warriors. Each week, I will bring you honest conversations with inspiring guests to share their stories of resilience, optimism, success, and simple yet effective strategies so that you transform your thoughts and change your behavior to get the results you want in your life. You will be empowered to take action, warrior up, and believe in you. Let's do this. What's up, warriors? Welcome back to another episode of the Suburban Warrior Podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy Pfeiffer, and I am back this week with another amazing suburban warrior here to share her story and expertise with us today. And today is going to be such a fun one because, yes, it is. Because, we talk a lot about health and wellness on this podcast for women in midlife. And I think one of the most important parts of health and wellness is how you feel inside and outside. And so today we're going to talk about some of the outside stuff. We're going to talk about fashion and beauty and makeup and skincare and all of the fun things that we use as women to help us look good and feel good. Yeah. So I'm going to introduce to you my friend today, Meeghan Mullin. She is a mom to 2 teenage girls, a former national makeup artist turned fashion and beauty content creator. And today we are going to get into all the fun stuff. She's going to share all of her tips and tricks with us, her favorite products, beauty, skincare, makeup. We're going to talk latest fashion trends. So welcome to the podcast, Meeghan.
Well, thanks. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to get into some good stuff.
I know, me too. Okay, So I have to say, in honor of you, Meeghan, I wore a white button down to the podcast.
I almost had a white button down on too, and I was like, I better try and mix it up. Aren't I so daring?
Oh my God, now, you put the stripes on. Well, for those of you that don't know Meeghan, I've known Meeghan for a long time, and forever, this girl puts on a white button down with pretty much anything. And looks unbelievable. And just for the record, I have tried it and it just doesn't work for me. I cannot. No, but I can wear a white button down, but I cannot rock a white button down like you can with so many different pieces, and it just looks absolutely fabulous. I also don't think to put it together with so many of the different pieces that you do. And then there you are wearing your white button down, so simple, and it just looks awesome. So I figured in honor of that today, I would wear my white button down for you. So maybe we can get into the white button down pairings later on in the podcast. But first, tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so as you said, I'm a mom first. I should say a wife first, then a mom. 2 teenage girls, 14 and 16, definitely keep me on my toes. I got into the fashion and beauty space. Well, I guess I should say I got into the beauty space, 20 some odd years ago. No, more than that, 30 years ago. Maybe even more than that. Who the heck knows? But
who's counting these days?
Yeah, exactly, honestly. I started freelancing for Bobbi Brown when I was in grad school. And it was just a way to have some fun, make some extra money. And then I got offered a real job, more on the corporate end, but still in the field, doing makeup for Bobbi Brown. And then I got snapped up by Trish McEvoy and was traveling all over the country for her, which was awesome. But, it had its time and its day, and then did some other things. Fast forward a bunch of years and a lot of other jobs later, and I found myself wanting to do something in this space, but not really knowing what the heck to do that made sense, especially being a wife and a mother first. And also, to be very honest, I also was like, who the heck do I think I am? Who cares what I think? Who cares what I'm wearing? Who cares what I'm putting on my face? But something happened to me, I think, in 2023. We were post pandemic. I had just literally had spine surgery, and I let my one daughter go on TikTok that summer. And I thought, well, I better get on here and figure out what the heck they're even watching, looking at, etc. So I just started making these videos knowing that nobody I personally knew was on TikTok. So I thought, who cares? I'll just be myself and whatever, you know. And I kid you not, that was as far as my thought process went in terms of doing this. But then I got some traction and some feedback just from, random people. And
Yeah.
I decided, I was like, oh, who cares? I'm just going to put this on Instagram. And if people don't like me or if people want to talk about me, let them talk and they can unfollow or what have you. And that was, back in July of 2023. And here I am now. So,
Yeah. Well, I do remember I was on TikTok because
yeah.
like you, I have
Yes.
teenage children,
Uh-huh.
and they were on TikTok, and same thing. I was like, okay, I got to be on this platform to
Yeah.
see what they're doing and watch all their little videos and
Yeah, yeah.
see what it's all about. And I remember seeing you, and I remember being like, oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome, very cool. Because I think it is hard to put yourself out there, and it's definitely that. I mean, listen, I remember the first video I posted for Suburban Warrior.
Yeah.
After I had this idea of the concept of Suburban Warrior and what it meant to me and what I wanted it to be. And I had this idea for so long. And I remember my first Instagram post on my Suburban Warrior account, I literally like broke out in a sweat when I hit post.
Yes. I know.
Because
Isn't
it was
crazy?
it was just very vulnerable. I was like,
Very.
what are people going to think of me? They're
Yep.
going to see this and be like, what the hell
Yeah.
is she talking about? So I
Yeah.
totally get that feeling, and I still think no matter how many followers have or how
Yep.
big you get, I think everybody has that little bit of imposter syndrome
Yes.
all the time. And you even hear like really famous people talk about it all the time. So
Yes.
anytime I start to get that feeling, I try to just push it away. And I'm glad you did because really happy for you and for all of your success in doing this. And we get to be the beneficiaries of it by,
Oh, well, thanks. But,
seeing all the fun stuff.
piggybacking off of what you said, I think I've come to realize, and I'm sure you've probably realized this years ago, is that that's really where the growth happens when you can kind of become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that's such a big threshold, I think, to kind of cross over. And once you do, it's kind of empowering in a way
Yeah.
because that's really where you're stretching and growing, and hopefully only good things can come from that.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
totally agree. I totally agree.
Yep.
It's really about being uncomfortable. That is absolutely where the growth happens.
Yeah.
If you stay comfortable, you kind of know that you're not really,
Yeah.
you're not growing.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so then you started this, doing the fashion and content creating and beauty. So let's first talk about fashion.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on spring.
Mm-hmm.
What are you loving for some like really fun spring fashion trends this
So I
year?
think I'm loving a set, which is not new per se this year, but it does make dressing so much easier, I find.
Yeah.
Whether it's a cute little skirt set, I love a skirt and like an oversized top, be it a button down or a sweater. I think that is something we're still going to see a lot of, and like we were saying, for good reason. I think the crochet phenomena is here to stay, which
Okay.
makes sense for, the summer. And I think crochet is very forgiving. I think sometimes people think it's going to, cling to the wrong spots, but
Yeah.
it really doesn't. It masks things that you would probably think wouldn't be able to be masked.
Yeah.
And the other thing I love about crochet is that you can find a lot of really good looks for the money, if you know what I'm saying. You don't have to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to find a great looking dress. For example, I found an unbelievable skirt on Amazon last year, and I'm no huge Amazon shopper. I mean, as you know, if I find something great, I love to shout it from the rooftops, but that's
Right.
not really my area. But having said that, there are still a lot of really great things that you can find. I also think color blocking is really big for this season.
Okay.
Whether, just keeping it somehow you still look monochromatic even though you're not, if that makes sense. So
Yep.
I love say a red pair of cigarette pants with a blue shell on top. and it's just
Oh,
like the blue and then the red, and you can do, any kind of color, chocolate brown and a Tiffany blue on top, or chocolate brown and white. There's so many different iterations of that. So I think that's going to be big. And even in dresses, I'll see, a bottom be one color, a top be another. I think the summer scarf is something else to kind of update your wardrobe, which it's such an easy way to do it. T-shirt, jeans, and throw on like a fun gauzy scarf. Yeah, so I think those are the things I'm thinking off the top of my head.
yeah. No, I think those are great. And when you said scarf, I'm laughing because you have also have an ability to do amazing things with the scarf.
Oh.
Somehow you turn a scarf into about 10 different
I
outfits.
know, I know. I do try and come up with new things with those scarves, because
Yeah.
they really can be anything from a cover up to an accessory to a top to one shoulder. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are
Like
some good
options are
choices.
limitless.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally.
And I think you have a few posts on your Instagram
Yeah,
that
yeah,
like
yeah. I
sort
need
of
to
show
save
us.
those in highlights.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do. You do
yeah. I
because
got to remember to do that.
you're like whipping it like you
Hmm.
got it. And meanwhile, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, wait,
What'd she
what'd she
go with
just do?
that?
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm like, oh my
I
gosh.
know.
Okay, so that's interesting. I don't have any crochet. That's something I think I probably need to invest in, especially if
Yeah,
it's covering some things up that I just never. I don't know why I never really thought crochet,
yeah.
but that's a
Especially
good.
being at the beach all summer, that is
Yes.
like a no-brainer for you.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Okay, and then and color blocking. So really, like the solids are
Yeah.
in is as
Yes.
opposed to print.
Yep.
Okay, I like that because I kind of tend to always gravitate towards solids myself.
Yeah, same.
So that's fun. I like
Yeah.
that's in. Okay, so what about for let's talk some beauty products
Yeah.
because first let's talk skincare.
Yes.
Are there I mean, are you one of have you used the same skincare products for a long time or do you try new things?
So I do try new things, but I will say I try not to test out too many new things at one time, because then you
Yeah,
never know what the heck is working, right?
exactly.
So, yeah, but I would say over the past year, I started using Dr. Diamond's medicine products.
Okay.
There's a plasma, there's emulsion, and there's a third one. And I'm really impressed with those products. I think they are peptide derived, and
Okay.
they're really focused on collagen building, which is such a buzzword, I know, but so important, especially at our age.
Yeah.
I'm loving those, and I have incorporated those into the skin system that I've been using. But for people who kind of, I don't want to say they have no idea, but well, maybe they don't have an idea and they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I always say get, a good cleanser, something that doesn't strip your skin but still gets all the junk off. Then and we're just talking bare basics right now, a vitamin C,
Yeah.
a peptide, and an SPF.
Okay.
So those I think are the main kind of stalwarts of your skincare regimen. Then, if you want to go into, like, for example, my 10-step routine, you certainly can, but you don't need to,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, okay, so your bare basics are a cleanser, a vitamin C, a peptide, and SPF, which
Yeah.
agree with all. Are there certain brands that you like for those?
So I've been using Jan Marini, our friend, I should say, Gina, turned me on to that a
Okay.
little while ago, and I had heard of it for so long, and I just was like, whatever, whatever. And then I tried it. I also heard Ariel Laura, she swears by it, and I really like it. So,
Okay.
yeah, so far, so good with that. Prior to that,
Awesome.
I've used Zio. The Zio skincare line is incredible. If
Okay.
somebody's looking to like whip their skin into shape, like that really did change my skin. So
Okay.
that's fantastic.
Good to know. Love that.
Then, if you want kind of like a one and done product, meaning it's got a little bit of retinol. Oh, and retinol at night. That's another major
Yes.
stalwart. I forgot that. But if you're looking to a one and done kind of a product, the compound from You Beauty is great. You can just kind of, cleanse your face, put that on, then your SPF, and you're good to go.
Okay.
And I
Good.
especially use that when I'm traveling, because I don't feel like bringing 10 bottles with me.
Okay. And that's You Beauty.
Yep. I have
Okay.
some of their other products here that I'll get into in a minute.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yes.
And so, because, I do think believe it or not, there are women our age that are still like, yeah, I like barely wash my face,
I
or I'll
know. I'm
just
like,
like,
crazy.
I think you need there, a 10 step. I mean, I feel like I'm close to that too at this time,
Yeah.
but I've also started a skincare routine, 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
I feel like for those women that are not using products, I think having, like, even if it's three, wash your face,
Yes.
put on something,
Yep.
and then moisturize.
Totally. I mean, for the
Okay, so
love.
that's good. The
And
compound.
also, yeah, and also your makeup goes on so much better when your skin is cleansed, hydrated, and then skin prep. That's a whole other new thing, which we'll touch on in a bit.
Okay.
And then the makeup, and it just goes on so much better,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so then those are the skincare that you love. What about makeup?
Yeah.
What's your go-to makeup products?
So there's a few. I have a couple of different things that I really stick to religiously that I love. Although, well, I was going to say one thing, but let me backtrack for a second. I'm
Yeah.
loving a new concealer by Sarah
Okay.
Creel. It's
Okay.
excellent. And I even love the brush that goes with it. I think I have it right here. I thought it was like in arm's reach, but it's not. But the brush that goes with it is great. It's so fluffy and it just goes on so nicely. The other thing I love that's kind of a hybrid between skincare and makeup is the Skin Glow from Wise Beauty.
Okay.
This is one of my ride or die products. It's beautiful. I wish that she would come out with it for the body because it just gives the most beautiful glow. And it has kind of like a tint to it.
So is
So
that one that you have there specifically for face?
yes, but
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
planning on putting it in my beach bag
Yeah.
because it does give you, this is a new bottle, it does give you a nice like sheen.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can see on here,
Yeah,
but
I actually can. It's
yeah,
great.
so I love to put that all over and then use like the Sarah Creel concealer under the eyes and on different spots, if I have a blemish or a
Yeah.
mark or whatever. So that's easy. Bronzers, I could wax poetic about forever and a day. Um,
Well, I would love to hear about bronzers because, I feel like, okay, first of all, let's talk about the difference between a bronzer
yeah.
and, wait, not highlighter, but contour.
Okay.
Because there's bronzers and then there's contour, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so tell me what your thoughts are about both of those.
Yes. And I'm so sick of this contour business, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, well, tell me about it because
I
I'm like,
guess.
what? I feel like I've always used a bronzer,
Yeah.
like ever since I started wearing makeup, like in my 20s, and I
Yeah.
just put it all over my face to give
Yeah.
myself a little bit of a bronze glow or whatever.
Yep.
And it's almost like a setting powder at this point.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, and then but nowadays the bronzers and the concealers kind of all look the same to me in
I
the
know.
makeup thing, and I'm like, well, then there's liquid, then there's powder, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh my god, I don't even know
I
what.
know.
So tell me your thoughts on that.
So personally, I have a thinner face, so I've never been into the whole contour thing. If somebody is getting ready for a big event and they want that more sculpted, professional look to their makeup, then I can completely see it. But for day to day, I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary. I think if anything, there are so many different products like the bronzing drops that you can
Yeah.
use to warm up your face that and there's so many different ones. Westman Atelier just came out with a gorgeous one. Makeup by Mario has a wonderful one that I really like. Say has a great one
Okay.
that's very natural looking. So I prefer to use that, and the way I use it is kind of hitting it on different parts of the face that people might think to contour. So, for example, around the high points of your forehead, if you find the indentation where your cheekbones are, you go kind of on your cheekbone. I see a lot of people making the mistake of going underneath the cheekbone, and that creates like a hollow look. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So you do it up there, and then you can even go around like the bottom part of your jawline and under here to conceal if you have a little extra under your chin. That
Okay.
is a good little tip. But then after that, then I like to go over it kind of like you were saying, almost like a setting powder with a bronzer.
Okay.
And what I think you really want to do is think about where the sun would naturally hit you, which
Yeah.
is like the bridge of your nose, the high points of your cheeks, and then like I always go under here. And you just want to use like feather light strokes to keep it natural looking,
Yeah.
But and there's so many good ones out there, so many great bronzers that is out there.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
bronzing powder.
Yes, like I love the one from Gucci makes a great one, but
Okay.
in shade number one. The As you get into the darker shades, they kind of get muddy.
Okay.
Then let's see what else. RMS makes they have like three or four that are gorgeous. My other favorite is Sisley, but it is ridiculously expensive.
Oh wow.
Like
Okay.
it's stupid expensive. And so those three, there's another fourth one. Oh, the one by Westman Atelier, their powder
Okay.
bronzers, gorgeous also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So they have bronzing drops and a bronzer, a bronzing
Yes.
powder. Okay.
Yes.
So you basically use bronzing drops similar to like people would use a contour.
Yeah.
And then you use the bronzer sort of just like
Set it kind of.
to set it. Okay. I love
Yeah.
that. That's a
Yeah.
great tip.
Yeah.
Okay. What else with makeup? What about mascara? What is like a go-to?
So the one I love, and truth be told, it was sent to me, is by Thrive, and I've heard
Oh
so
yeah.
many different people talk
I
about
use
it.
Thrive. I love it.
I love it. It
Yeah.
doesn't. I'm somebody who has to wear mascara on my bottom lashes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look dead if I don't have it on, and so I love that because it doesn't like weep. It doesn't.
It doesn't. Yes.
You don't end up looking like Tammy Faye by the end of the day.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
And it's like, I guess they call it like a tubing mascara.
Yes, yes.
So it really, really does elongate your lashes. It stays on really well. It thickens them. It doesn't move. I love Thrive too. That's
Yeah.
sort of my go-to as well.
Yes, love it.
Okay.
And another little tip that I've been using, because another thing about me is I have to wear eyeliner underneath my eyes. Again, I don't know why. I just look dead without it. But I got this cream shadow from Merit in the
Okay.
color Vachetta. It's just like a taupey brown. If you just put that underneath your lash line, it does something to people's eye color. It makes my blue eyes look bluer, green eyes look greener. It just kind of
Wow.
defines, but it defines your eye without it looking like you have eyeliner on.
Yeah.
So that's been a new little addition that I've started doing a couple weeks ago, and I like it, and it stays on, and it still looks more on the natural side.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you just
Yeah.
put it like right under your lashes. on the
Yeah,
bottom.
right under my lashes, and just use like an eyeliner brush,
Yeah.
dip it in, and just kind of go under it. Trust me, it's a good one.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good to know.
Yep.
All right. What about like a foundation? What's a good foundation that you love?
Okay, so I think there's a lot of different foundations for a lot of different reasons, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So for every day, I tend to go for something lighter. I love there's one from Chanel that I ran out of that I need to get again because that's also my kind of summer foundation.
Yeah.
But they also have that one. Have you seen it? It's like in a taller bottle. It's very liquidy when it comes out. It almost looks like water. I think it's called
Okay.
something water. I do use that a lot during the day.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch of different ones I love. The Radiant Finish from NARS, if you want something that's not super heavy and it will last you into the night, that's a great one. We all know and love Armani, that's a great one. House Labs, that's also another great one. But I will tell you, one of my all-time favorites that I've been using forever and a day is that stuff by It Cosmetics.
Okay.
I also love that in the summer because it has zinc oxide in it. And I don't know that people realize that. So
Yeah.
if you're really concerned about not getting sun on your face, nothing is getting through that gunk, let me tell you.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, especially if you're not wearing like a tinted moisturizer or
Right.
your moisturizer, doesn't have an SPF, that's awesome.
Oh, but you know what? Speaking of new products, where is that? I did just get this. This is a totally new to me product, actually. It's by, I think it's called Ciele, Ciele, and it is a foundation slash SPF.
Okay.
And it comes in kind of like a dropper, and it has a beautiful finish, SPF 50. It's really touted more as an SPF with tint rather
great.
than a foundation with SPF.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Any really good foundation SPF product.
Yeah.
Because listen, none of us need to be getting any sun on our face.
I know. Exactly.
That's what the bronzer's for.
Yes, exactly. And the drops. And now we're so lucky that we have so many different options.
Yeah.
So if you do happen to get a little color on your body, which I do,
Yeah.
you obviously you want your face to match. So there's plenty of
Absolutely.
things to be able to, make that happen.
Okay. Are there any other like products or tips that you have like that are to finish off the makeup process? Like what are some things people
Yeah.
might not know about that might
So,
be
well,
great?
if you're not using a setting spray, I don't know what you're doing. You have to use a setting spray. Not only does it keep your makeup on longer, but it really does help to keep it help to keep the makeup off your collar or your shirt
Oh,
or whatever.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it really helps.
Okay.
So I always will spray a little extra like under here because I'm the
Yeah.
chief offender of getting makeup
Oh,
all
I
over.
have makeup on like
Uh,
almost
you know what
every
you
scarf, everything.
well, yeah, same. This though, wait, let me just show you. I buy these in
Oh, yeah.
in packs of from
Yeah.
Amazon, and you just put this
Yeah.
on before you put your shirt
Listen,
on, your t-shirt, and it saves.
totally.
It really. This is a good little hack.
Yeah, I love those. I actually have one too, and it took me so long to figure out.
Right?
Like, duh. I
Yeah.
mean, I've ruined so many outfits like putting them on, so like you
Yes.
can't even wear them out.
Yep.
And until I realized like it's this easy, you throw this little netting thing over your face and you're
Yeah.
done.
I read about it somewhere in Asian countries. They have them in the dressing rooms. And I'm like, gosh,
Oh,
why doesn't
so
every
smart.
store have that? Because can you imagine how much clothing must get ruined?
So much, so
Yeah.
much. I mean, absolutely. That's a
Yeah.
great tip to bring up, though. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great finishing
I know.
finisher
That
for
is,
makeup.
and now I've also heard people say that if you spray hairspray on your collar, that can, but I'm always afraid to do that on like a white shirt because of,
Yeah, totally. That doesn't
yeah.
sound like it would be. And then, do you love like? Do you use like the Charlotte Tilbury setting
Yes.
spray? Is
So
that
I
the
love that one. I love the one by Iconic London. It gives a
okay?
little bit more of a dewier finish. I was using the pink can by I think it's like one size or something, but
Okay,
I kind of feel like I'm spraying like I don't know gasoline on my face when I'm
yeah.
doing that. I feel like I'm inhaling butane or something. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, what's
So
funny is my daughter gave me like a setting spray for Christmas in
huh,
like my stocking,
yeah, huh?
and I like tried it, and it's an aerosol, and
Yeah,
I literally felt the same way. I felt
it's
like I was like,
probably that one.
I was like, I'm sure it was. I was
Yeah,
like gassing myself out.
I
So
know.
the Charlotte Tilbury, because it's a pump, it doesn't feel as bad.
Yeah. And a little trick with that one, sometimes if you after you do your skin, skincare, skin prep, then spray the Charlotte Tilbury on first, and you will get such a beautiful finish with your makeup.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. And then
Interesting.
spray it at the end also, but
Okay.
first also is good.
Now, I have seen you spraying your face with that in some of your posts, and
Yeah.
sometimes you have glasses on.
Yes.
Is
Oh,
that no, like I feel like it's like almost like you're protecting your eyes or like they're like
yes.
goggles. So like are you doing that because you don't want the setting spray on your eyelids and stuff?
Yeah. So for me, I have these eyelash extensions still.
Oh,
So
okay, it's
I'm
because the
good.
extensions. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
That and then
That makes
also
sense.
sometimes I do feel like with the setting spray it can kind of mess up your eye makeup,
Okay.
but really it's just for these lash extensions.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm on this train now. I can't get off.
Yeah, oh, please. I was on it for a very long time. I
Yes.
just recently got off.
Yeah,
And it's hard. It's hard to
it
get off
is.
because
I know.
they're so lovely.
Yeah.
And you wake up every morning like, oh,
Oh, like Snow White.
yes, yes, I am ready for the day, even though I
Yes,
just rolled out of
exactly.
bed because I have
Uh-huh.
eyelashes.
I know.
So that I miss that the most about them.
Yeah,
But
I know.
I'm sure I'll get them again soon. Okay, so those are some great tips. Let's talk about tanning
Yes.
because I know that you are a bronze goddess each and every day, somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And this was one of the questions that I got on my Insta
Uh-huh.
about what are your favorite self tanning products?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you tan yourself or do you get spray tanned?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's hard to find good ones. It's hard to
Yes.
find clean ones. So talk
Agreed.
to us about the tanning.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, I do love me a spray tan and self tan.
Yeah.
So I just think everybody looks better with a little color.
Yes.
That's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I use, if it is an at home tan, something I'm doing myself, I found this company called Sol del Sur. They're out of
Okay.
Australia. I love it because it's one of those products that you can put on and it dries super fast. There's no smell. There is barely any transfer. I don't want to say there's zero transfer. There's barely any transfer.
Okay.
And it's just a beautiful color. Now having said that, now we're going into the time of the year where I do spray tan more. You know, your legs
Yes.
are out, blah, blah, blah. And I have somebody who comes to the house, and I have fallen in love with this brand called Nuda. So much so that I went so far as to buy my own product. So when my person comes to spray, I give her the jar of it or the
Okay.
bottle of it rather, and have her put it in. And I like that brand because it comes in a lot of different shades that you pick according to your skin tone. So if you're
Okay.
somebody who has a pinker undertone, you pick a different shade as opposed to somebody who maybe has more of an olive undertone to their skin.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then here's the burning question about the tan. In between spray tans or self
Yes.
tans, you know how like when you get it, it starts to like flake off a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't look so great. How do you manage that in between time?
Right. So a couple of things. Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. That is huge. One of my new favorite products is also by U Beauty. It's called the Hydrator. I actually have it right here. This is, I know that's a strong statement, but this is probably the best body moisturizer I have ever used.
Ooh, I
It
like
is-
it. That is a strong statement.
Yes, it's so good. And it just, you know, when you feel your skin, you're like, right, for example, I did not put it on today, running around and whatnot. And I can tell, like, you
Yeah.
squeeze your skin and it's staying up, and it shouldn't. It should go back down. So when you use this, it really, really hydrates. And if your skin is constantly staying hydrated, then the tan is going to last longer. It's going to fade more evenly. But I also do think sometimes the fading process has to do with the type of product you're using.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why I do love that Nuda, because it all kind of comes off at once, you know, gradually.
Oh, that's
obviously.
nice. Yeah. Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
So it's
You're not spotty.
exactly, because listen, even when I do my own self tan, sometimes, you know, I am an expert, but I'm not, you know, a
Yeah.
professional self spray tanner. So I might do a little bit more on my knees or a little bit more on my, you know what I'm saying? So in that
Yes.
sense, as it's fading, it sometimes isn't, you know, as nice looking as when you get it done professionally.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
you use the Nuda for when you're getting the spray tan.
Yes.
And then what is it? Sol de Sur.
Yep.
When you're self tanning. If for those that are self tanning at home, any tips for success for
Yes.
just
No,
maybe
okay.
like less mistakes or making it last longer, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So after you take a shower, you know, get in the shower, and sure, do I have an exfoliator in there? Yes, but you really don't. Like, it's not mandatory. Get a good washcloth and just use regular dial soap and, you know, scrub your limbs, etc. And then when you get out, do not put that self tanner on immediately, because the pH of your skin has to regulate itself. So, for example, maybe take your shower at night and then put the tanning stuff on in the morning, or vice versa. Do you know what I'm saying? Or
Yes.
at least let there be a couple of hours in between when you shower and when you self tan. The
Okay.
other thing I'm going to say, and this is another favorite product, and especially for those of us who might have age spots or sun damage or whatever, but have you tried the Westmore Beauty?
Oh my God, I love it.
Is
bought
that
it.
not
So I saw it
amazing?
on TikTok.
Yeah, of course.
And it's, the tube and this poofy brush.
Yep.
And it kept coming up and it kept coming up. And, I'm 50.
Yeah.
And all these 50-year-old ladies are like showing their chest.
Yes, yep.
And, I have age spots
Yeah,
on my
same.
chest.
Yep.
And I was like, and sometimes like I won't even want to wear a V-neck.
Right.
Because of it. But I love, in the summer, I love a tank top. I love a strapless top. So I'm like, you know what? I'm trying it. It was like $50.
Yeah.
I've only really used it once or twice because I got it in the winter.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
I know.
I mean,
It's
it
amazing.
is like such an amazing product. I don't know how it doesn't get all over your
I don't either.
your clothes, and it really makes your skin look beautiful. So
It does.
I'll let you explain what it is. But
Yeah.
I bought it, and I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I think you just did a perfect job explaining what it is. It's almost like body makeup. But
Yes.
the problem I think that a lot of us have after a certain age with self tanning and spray tanning is that it grabs onto pigment. So your spots get darker. And
Yeah.
that's not always a desirable thing. So what's so great, as you were saying, with the Westmore Beauty is that that does not happen. All of
Yeah.
those spots are somehow magically concealed and in such a way that you don't look dry afterwards. You have just a
No.
pretty sheen.
Yeah.
I don't know what the wizardry is, what the sorcery is. It's awesome. And that big brush, like you were saying,
Yes.
is that's a game changer. And I actually bought another brush like that for my regular self tanning products because the more
Oh.
buffing you can do, the better when you're self
Okay.
tanning. And
Smart.
at night, after I do my skincare, I always use some kind of a self tanner on my face, some
Okay.
kind of a drop, whether it's the ones from Saint Tropez or what's that brand everybody uses? Tan Lux or Tan
Yes,
Water,
Tan
something.
Lux. Yeah.
Yeah,
My girls use Tan Lux.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another brand that I just discovered this year called Tan Day,
Okay.
Tandae. It's a spray, like a not an aerosol, but just a spray, like a
Yeah.
and that is a beautiful. That gives gorgeous color as well.
Okay.
And then after
That's
you do that, oh, this was the tip I was going to share. Get an old makeup brush, like a foundation brush, and buff it into your skin, onto your
oh,
face, and
okay.
just keep that for your face tanner. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So do
Yes,
you put the tanning drops on after your skincare
I
at
do.
night? Yeah.
Yep.
So you do everything, then the tanning drops.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it's not even so much to look tan. It's
Yeah.
just you wake up and you look better. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? You just
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
fresher, more alive, less
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
pale as a ghost in the dead of
exactly.
winter. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Totally.
We're the dead of April, like we're
Yeah.
having.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, and then so the Sol de Sur, is
Yeah.
that something where you put it on and then you like rinse it off a couple hours later?
I don't. They do have a rapid where you can do that, but
Okay.
I don't know. I never do that.
Okay,
It
so
doesn't
yours is
smell.
you just put it on and you leave it on.
Yes, it's
Oh,
a
great.
mousse, so it's so easy.
Okay.
And
Okay.
again, because it doesn't have that gross smell,
Yep.
then I don't feel the need like, oh my God, I got to get it off. There are,
Totally.
right?
Okay,
There
so you just
are
leave it on
some.
until you shower again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Good to know. All right,
Yeah.
that's good.
Good.
I'm going to try that one. Because
hmm
I use the was it Sol de Janeiro? Is that what No, not Sol de
Oh,
Janeiro. Saint Tropez. I use the
Santa Fe.
Saint
Yeah,
Tropez.
that's a great one too.
Yeah, but I'm always interested in trying
Yeah.
something new. So I'm going to
Yep.
try that. Okay, any other sort of just like maybe lifestyle or beauty hacks, the things that you do that maybe people, other women our age may not be thinking about doing? Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. A friend
Yeah.
of mine who I love, we're always like sharing, skincare tips and nutrition tips and all these things.
Uh-huh.
And in the conversation, she's like, "Oh yeah, I sleep in like a silk bonnet." I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"What?"
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, I have ever since I was little. My mom bought me silk bonnets, and I sleep in it." And she does have beautiful hair,
Yeah.
but that's like something literally I would never
Right.
think. I mean, I
I
do sleep
have
on a
one.
silk pillowcase. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so again, like until she mentioned that, like I wouldn't even think to like sleep in a silk bonnet.
Right.
So things like that, because I know you probably have a lot of these little
Oh
tips
yeah.
and tricks that you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything that you think we may not know about.
Well, so definitely the silk pillowcase. I thought they
Yes,
were a hoax, but they are not. They're
totally.
so good. Slip makes a great one. Kitsch makes a great one. Those are two things. The silk bonnet I have yet to try, but now you're
Yeah.
reminding me. So I am trying to grow out my hair right now because I have these layers. They're making me crazy. I'm trying not to touch my hair 10,000 times. It's very challenging. So I just need to let them grow. So one of my people, I detest the word followers, but one of my people suggested to me to try chlorophyll tablets.
Okay.
And I have been taking them for a few weeks now. And supposedly they really help with your hair and your nails. And I'm also trying to work on the quality of my nails from, all the junk we put on them.
Totally.
And I will say the girl said to me, she goes, "Oh, your nails are looking so much better." And it's only been a
Awesome.
couple of weeks.
Okay.
So that is huge. I also think for eyebrows, any kind like castor oil in a wand is excellent for your brows to keep them
Oh,
fuller, to encourage growth.
that's a
That is
great. tip.
Yeah, that's a really, and you can get them on Amazon for like $10 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get like a castor oil little thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love that.
And then there's a really good little hack that I personally just learned from this makeup artist, Kellyanne Sewell.
Okay.
It's about, if you wear lip liner, it's about keeping it on for hours. And
Okay.
what you do is you take a lip mask or a lip product when you're doing your skincare. Put that on as one of your steps. Keep it on for, as long as you're doing your skincare. Then wipe it off, but still keep, don't like wipe it 98% off. So in other words,
Okay.
you still want your lips to be hydrated. Then as you're doing your makeup, give a light dusting of powder over your lips a few times going through the makeup process. Then at the end, do your lip liner, then powder. Now I have to say, I kind of veer off of this because I always do lip liner second. Do your lipstick first and then your liner. That way when the lipstick fades off, you're not left with like the ring around your mouth,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you do that, then lightly powder and then put a little bit more lip on, then your gloss, it will last so long. I kid you not. It really works.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So basically putting the, like, whatever you said, like a lip mask or something,
yeah, like the
something that
Laneige.
hydrates, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so like a hydrator on, you sort of wipe that off a little bit. Then you put your powdering as you go.
Yep.
Then put lipstick on, then the liner.
Yes.
Great.
And then
okay.
a little bit more powder. And then, I love gloss. So then I'll put my gloss on after that.
Okay, so let's talk about lipstick and lip gloss because we
Yes.
didn't talk about that.
Oh,
what
yeah.
are some faves for you?
Okay. So I do like to start with a lip stain, a lip stain.
Okay.
And because I have very limited lips, they're thin.
So do I.
Okay.
So do I.
I've tried the filler, I've tried the Botox above the lip. It's not happening. So to try and work with what we have, I love the one from Benetton, just the regular color.
Yep.
I also love the one from Clarins in Violet, believe it or not.
Okay.
And they really stay on. I actually have it on now. I've had it on since this morning.
Okay.
And so I think that is a great base that way. Again, I must eat my lipstick off because
my
it
lipstick
lasts,
does not stay on.
Exactly.
And
so
then if I put a gloss on over the lipstick, then
Right.
it's really gone.
I
It
know.
just comes right off.
Exactly. So that's why I think having a stain is great.
Okay.
And then favorite lip products, I love the glosses from Fenty. I love the gloss. Well, my all-time favorite gloss is from Sisley. Again, it's stupid expensive, but I've gone through so many tubes because it's something. If you're using it every day, multiple times a day, it's girl math. It's cost per wear or whatever. So
Right.
they make beautiful, beautiful lip glosses. They're not too sticky, but they also don't come right off either.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, believe it or not, MAC, I think, makes some of the best glosses. They have a ton of colors. They don't give me a funny taste in my mouth.
Yeah. Totally.
So I love theirs. What else? Oh, the best lipstick is by Revlon. This color was Audrey Hepburn's lipstick. It's called Pink in the Afternoon.
Okay.
It looks good on pretty much everybody. Whether you have blonde hair, brown hair, it just looks good on everybody.
That's so funny. I love those.
Same. I love a good drugstore find. And while I'm on that topic, one of my favorite glosses is a drugstore find. It's by Milani.
Okay.
It is number 3, Prismatic Peach. It has like the applicator's nice. It's just everything about it is great, including the price, which is like $9.
Yeah. It's always great.
I mean, always great. So I love these. I mean, I could go on and on. I think I own just about every single lip gloss known to man.
You've tried them all.
I've tried them all. I always think that there's still one out there that's going to change my life.
I know. It's so fun, though.
It is so fun. And you know what? If for $25 you can, brighten your day, why the heck not,
Absolutely. It's all about how you feel, right?
Yes, totally. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So before we go, is there any last things that we need to know?
Oh, goodness.
I feel like you shared so many amazing tips. We talked
Oh, good.
little fashion. We talked skincare, lots of beauty. But any other tips we need to know?
Oh, let me think. Let me think. Oh, I told you about my favorite, the Wise product. Told you about the U Beauty brushes. That's a whole other
Brushes
topic.
are a
We
big,
can.
yeah, brushes are big, right?
That's
Like
a
you got
big
to use
one.
the right brush.
Yeah, and it does make a difference. So I'll just end with the one that I love so much that is just really great. It's Makeup by Mario. It's F1, I think.
Okay,
Let me just get
okay,
my glasses on. Yes, F1, this brush here. I love
okay,
it because I love cream blush. I forgot to say that. I'm a
okay,
blush slut.
okay.
I love, give me all the blush. I'm not going to say
Yes,
no.
but you like cream blush.
I love cream blush
Okay,
and I like powder. So I usually do powder first and then I'll put the cream on top of it. And
okay,
I don't know what it is about this brush, but I also like to do it on the apple of my cheek.
yep,
I know on TikTok and everywhere else they're like, go up. No, especially at our age, we
yeah,
want to have like that just pinch the cheek look. And
yep,
if you put it right like on the chunky part of your cheek, it just
yep,
looks younger.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm actually with you on that.
good.
I think back in the day,
Good.
I was swiping,
Yeah.
and now it's like there's no reason to. I don't know
Right.
why I switched my mode of action. No one ever told me to. It just I do agree. It's just sort of color on the
Yeah.
apples is really all
Right.
I need. I do some highlighter and stuff up there,
Right.
but
Exactly.
yeah, but
Yeah.
not the color.
I know. I know.
What
And
about
I
you?
do see like these younger girls when they're doing the contour and then they do the blush. They're putting like the blush in their hair for the love
Yeah,
of
yeah,
God.
yeah, exactly. Well, this is my issue. Like, I have three older daughters,
Yes.
and they have every product from Sephora in their
I'm
makeup
sure.
bags,
Yes.
and they look beautiful. And I watch
Hmm.
them putting on their makeup, and I mean, I've tried some of the stuff that they have,
Yeah.
and I even try like, okay, like, the contour, their
Right.
dots that they use with the liquid and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like there's just some things that they don't work. It just doesn't work.
Right.
So I think it's just an age thing. Like some things work on the younger,
Totally.
very
Yes.
collagen filled cheeks.
Yes. Yes.
And some
Exactly.
things work differently for us.
For us. Yes. Yes. I will give you one last tip because it's a good one. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to buy 5 different foundations and you're looking to thin out the foundation that you currently have, maybe it's like your winter foundation.
Yeah.
If you take these drops from Armani
Okay.
and you put one or two kind of like I always do my foundation on my hand. I know lots of times, again, on TikTok or Insta, whatever, you see people like squeezing it on their face.
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
entirely too much makeup.
Yeah.
You don't need that. For a foundation, you want it to look like a second skin.
Right.
So I always work like my hand as a palette, sort of.
Yeah.
So you do a drop or two or three, whatever, of the foundation, and then a couple of drops of this. It's called Fluid Sheer. This is hold on one sec, number 10.
Okay.
And just swirl it together, put it all over. It just gives a really beautiful glow. And if it's too glowy for you, then you just take a little powder and, dab
Yeah.
around where you don't want that glow or that shine, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah. I love that. And that helps to sort of thin out the
Yes.
foundation a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Gives it like maybe like a little bit of a lighter feel.
Totally. Totally.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. That's a good tip. All right. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, this has been so much fun, Meeghan.
So fun.
I feel like I've learned so much. I'm like writing all the products down
Yeah.
as you're going. And I feel like I have a whole list of new things I need to try for spring now.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
if you need any of you put them in show notes or whatever, I can always tell you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be
Colors and
amazing.
whatnot.
We'll put them in the show notes. I love that we got to talk about all these fun things. And guys, you can find Meeghan on TikTok and Instagram at, what is it, Meeghan M?
Yes, Meeghan M on Insta and Meegs1717 on TikTok. That's remember
Oh.
when I was trying to be anonymous.
Yeah. That's right.
Now it came to it's like bit me in the butt because it's not you're really supposed to try and be as cohesive as possible, but whatever.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure people are finding you just fine. And we will be sure to link both of those in the show notes so they can find you as
Awesome.
well. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Meeghan, for being on the podcast today and for sharing all of your awesome expertise.
Yay.
It's been really fun. And guys, you can find Meeghan, like I said, on Instagram and TikTok. We'll link those names in the show notes. You can find me at Suburban Warrior on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And of course, you can find the podcast anywhere that you listen to the podcast. And please be sure to let us know what you think of the episode. We would love to hear from you. In fact, we need to hear from you because it's your comments and your feedback that tell us what you want to hear more about. And also, if you leave us a comment on Apple or Spotify, it really helps to get the podcast out to more women like you who just really want to hear about this information. So I would love for you to leave us a rating and review. And we'll be back next week with another amazing suburban warrior here to share her story. In the meantime, we are redefining midlife wellness with grit and grace. So warrior up, believe in you, and we'll be back next week. Thanks, Meeghan.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. See ya.